All right, everyone, we have a propaganda alert. That is that the Biden administration is doing it again. Last year, I reported on it at the time. I've brought it up frequently since then. Oliver Darcy of CNN came out and said that the Biden administration was working hand in hand with the legacy media, the corporate press, to try to spin economic news. It wasn't entirely successful, partially because the economy sucks. Now, though, they're going a step further. Of course, there is currently an impeachment inquiry being launched by Kevin McCarthy. Belatedly, he finally got around to it, despite saying that on day one they were going to be looking into that Burisma stuff. Well, it took a little bit longer than that, but better late than never. Typical good Republican. And in the wake of that, the Biden admin has apparently sent out a mailer to multiple corporate press agencies, CNN and MSNBC and all these others, to try to spin news with regards to the impeachment probe as well. Basically saying, well, you got to circle the wagons and defend us. And that's why you see a lot of commentators, many of which are on the DNC dole, by the way, right now, saying it's a nothing burger. The GOP is wasting people's time. They have no evidence of any kind. Well, they do. I mean, you've got Hunter Biden's laptop. We know that Biden lied. It's just a matter of how illegally did he lie. We know that he met with people he claimed he never met. We know that he talked to people that he claimed he never talked to, both remotely and in person. All of these things are known quantities. We've got pictures, we've got video clips, we've got emails, and all of these other things. The fact, though, that the Biden admin has been so reliant upon the corporate press to defend itself, again, Bidenomics, which is a grift, now impeachment, this has happened before, shows the weakness of the administration, how feckless it really is, how corrupt it is, and how difficult it finds itself, to actually defend itself. Another thing, last night I was watching part of that presser, Karine Jean-Pierre's giving the press updates and stuff. I watched it live. They had John Kirby on with regards to the Iran deal that's going through. Boy, oh boy, does this administration crumble under any form of pressure whatsoever. He couldn't answer anything. The man couldn't answer a question, hardly. It's like, basically, what's your name, Mr. Kirby? I don't know, I plead the fifth. I mean, you would expect that from him. It was an absolute rolling disaster. And then he left very quickly after he took a few questions, most of which were hostile questions. And I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. Like why did they even trot him out up on stage to answer questions when he's so clearly terrible at doing so? The Biden admin, because it has that central fault, it has that central flaw, it's not good with dealing with PR and strategy in general because people don't really support the administration. They're constantly relying upon third parties. You saw the court case from the Fifth Circuit the other day that was handed down. Only a few days ago. The Biden admin was repeatedly attempting to use big tech to pressure people politically, to the point where it violated the Constitution so egregiously the Fifth Circuit decided to rule along the lines of the state of Missouri that had sued the Biden administration to stop them from doing that. I've warned that while that's a good decision, it's not actually going to stop their interference in political conversation. They'll just use an extra middleman or something like that, although it's an improvement. It slows them down a little bit. When an administration has to pressure corporations, including the press, they're just a bunch of corporate agencies, to try to defend them, because they're indefensible, at what point do you say that the administration self-evidently is dysfunctional? You don't have to be a partisan or anything like that to understand that's, the Trump admin never did this because they never had the will of any of these groups. They never had the will of the corporate media or big tech or anything like that. Trump got banned from most of big tech until fairly recently. They finally decided that it was no longer tenable culturally. The Biden admin, meanwhile, basically has no choice but to suck up to CNN in order to spin the news in blatant and naked propaganda on a regular basis. And it's kind of creepy and weird because really there shouldn't be any coordination for the most part between, unless it's for some national security purpose. For political purposes, there really shouldn't be any influence over the corporate press, big tech, the modern public square, anything like that, and yet it keeps happening over and over and over. It's become a huge habit for the Biden administration. Normally, you don't do that when you feel like everything's hunky-dory. So all of that messaging, the positive messaging that we do see, is nothing more than propaganda. I think that people are beginning to see through it as well. That's about all. Peace out.